HarperCollins and HarperAudio present The Way of the Bear, a Leaphorn, Chee Manuelito novel by Anne Hillerman. Performed by Delanna, Studi. A note before we begin. For a glossary of Navajo terms and the author's acknowledgments, don't forget to download the accompanying enhancement PDF from your audiobook provider or go directly to harpercollins.com/pages/The Way of the Bear. In memory of my brother Daniel Bernard Hillerman, 1964 to 2022. In honor of Santa Fe's inimitable Charles Milner, a fine gentleman and a wonderful storyteller. And in loving recognition of Charmaine Coimbra and Ruth Esserman, two inspirational women who lived life with joy and passion and who taught me more than I realized about the value and challenge of creative work. I miss you all. 1. An unexpected noise, the crack of gunshots, stopped Bernadette Manuelito where she stood and put her instantly on alert. She lowered her hand to her weapon and felt her body begin to flood with adrenaline. Instinctively, she flattened herself against the red sandstone cliff face. Her breath came in shallow bursts as she waited for more shots or whatever else came next. It was December, Nishitsu, a season when nature rested, calmly settling in for the challenge of deep winter's long nights. The surprise of the gunshots shattered Bernie's peace, but the winter evening rolled on as if the blast had never happened. The more intently Bernie listened, the more the desert seemed to grow silent. Nishitsu could be the time of great winds, but this evening was windless. She could barely make out the sound of a vehicle moving in the distance. She knew a powerful snowstorm was in the 24-hour forecast. The dry earth would welcome the moisture. For now, anticipation hung heavily in the still air, and a frigid, fierce winter loomed ahead. Through the darkness, a few feet from where she stood, she saw an owl's slow gliding flight, its swooping descent, and then the quick ascent with a struggling mouse in its talons. The Ne'esh landed on a rock that jutted from the cliff face, and after a moment she heard its call. The sound reminded her of something Jim Chee's uncle had told her, and Chee years before. He had explained to them that Owl was an envoy of the holy people. She also knew that many considered owls to be omens of death, and she had encountered more than enough of that recently in her job as a police officer. For a Navajo raised with abiding respect for the traditional ways, seeing an owl meant it was time to offer a prayer for protection. Bernie took a moment to do that. She leaned against the cold stone and reflected on the word Nitshitsu and the meaning of the season. For her and Chee, her husband, the days had been filled with strong winds of change, a tornado of turmoil on the job and off. She had come to this special place, the Valley of the Gods, in the shadow of the sacred Bear's Ears Buttes, in search of a few hours of winter peace. Relax, she told herself. She filled her lungs with the dry, frigid air, straightened her spine, ordered her shoulders down from her ears, and rolled her head from right to left and back again to release the tension in her neck. She stepped away from the rock face to look out over the expansive landscape. She took another soothing breath. Finally, the stillness which had seemed threatening reassured her. The shots weren't close, and she reminded herself that in rural areas such as this, occasional gunshots were part of the human soundtrack. Bernie had never visited the Bear's Ears National Monument, so last week when Chee invited her to join him, she had eagerly accepted. Because Chee had an assignment in Bluff, he had arranged a time to speak with Desmond Grayhair. The Hatatli and leader from the Navajo mountain community had suggested a spot at the southern edge of Bear's Ears and asked Chee to invite his wife so they could get acquainted.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?